Now on Bounce, it is Friday, and you know what that means. Our guest Bounce contributor, Olympia D, is here for her weekly segment, Raising Brilliance. She's a radio personality for Old School 105.3. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What are we discussing tonight?
Well, tonight on Raising Brilliance, I want to talk to my parents about mental health of our children. After having a long discussion with tonight's guest, I was shocked when I learned that suicide is the second leading cause of death in young people aged 15 to 24, and it's the third leading cause of death for young people 10 to 14 years old.
Those are some startling statistics.
Yeah, definitely. So with numbers like that, and with Mental Health Month coming up in less than a week, I thought it was important to bring in Fonda Bryant. She is with NAMI, that's the National Alliance on Mental Illness here in Charlotte. Thank you so much for coming here, Fonda.
Thank you.
And I had a conversation later on earlier this afternoon, and we were talking about the new report that came out this week that was stating that suicide rates were on the rise. As a matter of fact, it is at the highest rate in 30 years.
In 30 years, it's the highest rate ever. And for young girls ages 10 to 14, it's at 200% rise. It went from 50 girls in 1999 to now it's over 150 girls, and that's alarming.
Now, what do you think is causing those numbers to increase?
I think a lot of it has to do with bullying. I think a lot of it has to do with parenting.
Right.
I think we're in such a society that it's a instant gratification. A lot of parents are not doing their job, I'm sorry to say, and they're not really talking to their children. They're letting them get on the computer, they're letting them get on the internet, and they're not opening up talking to these kids, and they're leaving these kids to their own vices, and it's starting to affect them.
Right, and I know we're talking about suicides right now, but there are other mental issues that affect young adults and regular adults. Can you talk about some of those other diagnoses as well?
Yeah, the number one disorder, which I thought it would be depression, the number one mental health disorder is actually anxiety.
Really?
And a lot of people think anxiety is not this big a deal, but anxiety can lead to some serious panic attacks where you almost think you're having a heart attack.
Right.
And it also leads into depression. So anxiety is number one, and depression is number two, which I deal with myself personally.
Right.
You know, sometimes people recognize that there is an issue, but maybe they ignore it. You know, why do you think that people do that?
I think the biggest thing is because in this country it's still such a stigma to mental health. I mean, if you look on the news most of the time, as soon as there's a mass killing, right up under it is mental illness. And the thing is, people don't show a lot of stories about recovery. They don't show that we still go out here and we raise children, that we contribute to society and we do extraordinary things. They don't show that. It's always got to be doom and gloom with mental health, and until we break that wall of stigma down, it's going to continue, and the suicide rate is going to continue to rise.
Well, let's help our parents out tonight. Let's give them some signs that they can look for in their children to let them know, hey, the kids are in trouble, they're suffering from some type of mental health issue. What are some of those signs?
Well, one of the signs is a child who enjoyed maybe playing football or basketball or doing something extracurricular activity after school. All of a sudden, they don't want to do that. Or something that they enjoyed doing maybe with the family or friends, they stop. Lack of energy, and all of a sudden just feeling tired. They don't want to do anything. Feeling worthless and guilty about something they have no control over, especially when a parent is going through a divorce or something like that.
Right.
Difficult concentrating in school where their grades might start plummeting. Things like that. And also having sleep difficulties. Sleeping too much. That's all they want to do, or not sleeping enough. So those are signs that, hey, something's wrong and you need to check it out.
Definitely.
A little more than 30 seconds to go here. Where can you go for help, or who should you call?
Well, for number one, if you're in a crisis, there's a national suicide hotline number. It's the 1-800-273-TALK. You have strategic behavioral health, which is a mental health, behavioral health for children ages 12 to 17 here in Charlotte. Of course, you have NAMI Charlotte that has family-to-family classes. And then you also have MHA, which is the Mental Health Association of Central Carolinas. So it's plenty of help out here. All you have to do is ask.
Definitely. And during the month of May, NAMI will have lots of events to bring awareness to mental health. So for more details, please log on to their website at nami-charlotte.org. And we thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me. Very important subject.
And also, if you have a Raising Brilliance idea or event, please email me at olympiadshow@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Olympia D Show.
All right. Thank you so much,
you.
Fonda Bryant, Olympia D. Stay with us. We will be right back.